Hey, how's it going guys? Phil here, and this is a review for the Dmyco Rearview Mirror Dashboard Camera. You'll receive the dashboard camera, instruction manual, 32GB microSD card, plastic trim tool, rear camera with mounting screws and double-sided tape, reset pin tool, 17.5-foot long rear camera cable, 11-foot miniUSB accessory port power adapter with right angle connector, and 2 rubber straps. This is the dashboard camera. It measures 12 inches wide, 2 3/4 inches tall, and 1 1/4 inches thick. The mirror reflection in it is very clear and crisp. On the back is the front camera lens, stereo external speakers, and reset pinhole. Along the top you have the GPS input port, microSD card slot, rear camera AV input, and mini USB charging port. On the bottom, you've got the power button and microphone. These 4 hooks are used with the rubber bands to attach the unit to your existing rearview mirror. The unit has a small internal battery in it that can run it for 15 to 20 minutes continuously unpowered. When you turn the unit on, there is a musical tone. And every time you tap the screen, there is a beeping tone. The function of the touch icons along the bottom toggle on and off sound recording, switch between photo and video mode, capture video or photos when a card is installed, enter the settings, or locks the video being recorded. Let's check out the settings. Along the top, you have the back button, front and rear camera resolution toggle for 2K and 1080p, loop recording length for 1, 3, or 5 minutes, time-lapse for 1, 2, 3 seconds or off, toggle on and off audio recording, G-sensor sensitivity, parking monitor sensitivity, set the screen to turn off after 1, 3 minutes or never, change the video encoding, set the video frequency, enter USB storage mode when connected to a PC to view the files. A quick note, don't touch this icon if you're not connected to a PC, or the camera will freeze, requiring you to reset it. You can turn off the beeping touch tone, set the external speaker volume, turn on and off the welcome tone. Stream media makes the default video on the screen the rear camera when the setting is on. With the setting off, the video feed defaults to the front camera. Change the language, set the date and time, and format the SD card, which I'll show you how to do now. This camera accepts a Class 10 microSD card up to 32 GB. When installing the card, be sure to insert it with the gold contacts facing the side of the dashcam with the lens. Then push the card in until it clicks. Now when we turn the camera on, it'll prompt you to format the card, which we can do in the settings. You can see that the picture from the front camera is quite clear, with high resolution. The stats along the top disappear quite quickly, but tapping the screen brings them up again. The red blinking dot indicates that the camera is recording. Tapping the middle icon on the bottom stops recording. Then we can switch to photo mode and snap a photo. Switching back to video mode automatically starts a recording. Here we can see the resolution is 2K, and we've got a running time counter, a date and timestamp in the middle, and we are recording audio, and you can view the remaining battery life. Note that the lens on the camera is on a ball joint, and it can be swiveled and adjusted to set the angle and direction. There is also a plastic film on the lens that should be removed for you to get the clearest possible image. The same is true for the rear camera. Install this dashcam over your existing rearview mirror by attaching the rubber straps to the hooks on either side. Then set the front camera angle. Note that because the lens extends out from the left-hand side, your driver's side visor may make contact with the now longer mirror, requiring you to make adjustments to it periodically. Next, plug in the power adapter and rear camera input. You can hide the cables above the dashcam by running them between the ceiling panel and the windshield. Then tuck them under the trim along the edges of the ceiling. You may need to use the trim tool to help you pull back the trim and push the cable under it. Continue to run the rear input video cable all the way into the trunk of your car. Next, I fed the cable from the rear camera into my trunk through a small hole drilled into a plastic cover, and then installed the back camera centered just above my license plate with the adhesive sticker. Plug the rear camera input cable into the yellow connector coming off of the rear camera. Pay close attention to the yellow connector, which has a notch that matches up with the peg in the 4-pin connector. The connection should be snug and tight, and these arrows should line up. Now that the rear camera is hooked up, I want it to come on automatically when I put the car in reverse gear. For this, we'll have to wire the back camera to the car's reverse light. Inside my trunk, I folded down the trunk liner by removing 3 plastic screws so I could access the reverse light. Then I removed the power connector from the light and located the black and brown cables, which indicate negative and positive respectively. I stripped about half an inch of the rubber sleeve off the red wire coming from the rear camera input cable. Then I pushed the end of the red cable into the positive lead on the reverse lights connector before replacing it behind the bulb. Now we're ready to see the camera in action. When I start the car, the camera will automatically turn on and start recording. If I put the car in reverse, it automatically switches to the rear camera and puts up the reverse guidelines. The reverse guides are great for determining just how close you are to an object behind you. The lines can also help you parallel park. To toggle between the cameras, swipe left from the center of the screen, or swipe again to view both cameras at the same time in split screen mode. To enter playback mode, swipe right from the center of the screen. To adjust the brightness, swipe up and down on the right-hand side of the screen. And to change the vertical field of view, swipe up or down on the left-hand side of the screen. To lock a recording and save it as important so that it doesn't get overwritten, tap the lock icon along the bottom. The record indicator will change to yellow, and there will be a yellow progress bar along the bottom. To view locked files in playback mode, tap the folder name and select Front or Rear Urgent Video. At 2K quality, a 5-minute clip from the front camera takes up about 400 megabytes. Conversely, at 1080p, a 5-minute clip from the front camera takes up about 250 megabytes. The video is clear and sharp with accurate colors, nice saturation, and decent white balance. The rear camera footage at 1080p averages around 350 megabytes per 5-minute video clip. And at 2K is around 500 megabytes. The video from this lens is also nice and clear, with plenty of detail, and you can really see the difference between the two resolutions in the image quality and clarity. Here is some video footage at night from the front camera. When it's dark out, the lighter areas of the image captured are brightened, but sometimes to the point where they can get washed out, and you do lose some clarity. That may make it harder to read signs and license plates at night in the video footage.
Yeah, so I looked at their program, right? So they have a program on their website,
and they tell you what they're airing at what time slot. And here's the footage from the rear camera at night, which I thought actually did a better job at controlling the white balance in the lighting. The audio for the videos is identical for the front and rear camera feeds over the same period of recorded time. It's fairly clear, though voices are kind of faint, even when both speakers are sitting in the front seats. Yeah, so I looked at their program, right? So they have a program on their website, and they tell you what they're airing at what time slot. One thing that I didn't like was that the microphone picks up the beeping sound from tapping the screen, so if that's annoying for you, you should turn those off. One tip is if you want to use the mirror and shut off the video feed, simply short press the power button on the bottom. You don't have to wait for the screensaver to kick in, and it will continue to record. I also set the screen to show the rear camera by default. That way, if I touch the screen accidentally and activate the camera, at least I would still be able to see what's behind me. With the LCD off, the mirror looks pretty much like a normal rearview mirror, though it's quite a bit wider than my original mirror, so I get a wider field of view. Overall, the quality of the video and audio are very good for this type of camera. The screen is large, and I found the interface to be pretty easy to use. I do wish there was a pass-through USB port on the plug for charging or powering other devices, but other than that, I found the camera works well and captures high-definition video from both the front and rear camera with amazingly fine detail, color, brightness, and clarity. I hope you enjoyed this review. You can ask me any questions in the comments. I'll put a link to the product in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and join me next time.